did not make note of that.
Last week, or not, a few days ago, we interviewed Greg Nicotero. I just wanted to mention that because it was awesome, right?
Oh,
and so if you guys didn't get a chance to hear it, go back and check episode 115.
I didn't listen to it again. You must have, because you edited it.
Yeah.
Is it just as good as I remember?
Yeah. I mean, we talked a lot about other movies he's worked on and his views of film and things.
Yeah.
And we could have probably talked a little bit more about the episode that he directed. I wish we had a little, but we only had 30 minutes. And also I wanted to ask him about the spinoff. I forgot to do that. I could talk to him for literally hours.
Yes. Yes.
But whatever he says is great.
Walking Dead Hawaii.
But here's a little clip from the interview that I thought was kind of funny.
Oh, yeah, the zombie falls through the roof and he gets impaled on a cross beam and his guts tear out and then he's hanging from his guts. Like, that just seems like an everyday occurrence. Yeah.
What?
That's Greg Nicotero in a nutshell. He's like, yeah, that's my life.
He asked us right before that, he was saying, so do you think there was a lot of guts in that episode?
Yeah, do you think it was gory?
And we're like, yeah, we do actually.
That's funny. Anyway, check that out. But this week I want to do less dawdling and jump right in. So here we go.
Attention shoppers. Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, it's Deadcast Top 5. This week it's our top 5 highlights for Season 4, Episode 2, Infected.
Yep. I'm not going to dawdle. I'm going to get right to it. Just kidding. I thought it was a really strong episode. I thought full of good character development and disgusting zombie goodness. I gave it a 4.65 out of 5 brains.
That's high. Better.
It is high.
What'd you give last week? 4.
Whatever.
5? Yeah.
Something like that.
I think this was higher. Yeah, me too. I thought it was great. I mean, there were a couple things that bugged me about it, but they were pretty isolated, and I'll get into them. But overall, I thought it was a great episode, and I love the way that they're centering the storytelling around the zombies. And, they said they were going to make the zombies scarier, and they really are.
They really are.
In a good way. And I thought it was character focused without being slow, which is a great trick that Scott Gimple, I think, is really good at. And Angela Kang wrote this episode, so good on her. And I thought it was great. And I gave it a 4.3 gax.
Poor Beth has to reset her Days Without an Accident calendar again.
I know. They should show that at the end of each episode.
She takes off
Eraser.
the 1. Puts it back to 0.
They show her out and back. Like, what do you call it when they clap the erasers together to get all the chalk out? There's too much chalk in there.
There's too much chalk. Stupid accidents.
The Karen Death Watch didn't last long. We didn't have time to do a contest.
Karen Death Watch
Can't say I'm surprised.
Did not last long.
Yeah.
No, she looked sickly last episode.
Yep. All right. Can I go first?
Yeah, do it, man.
Okay. My number 5 is The Little Piggies.
What?
It was really sad. Well, actually, I noticed if I start talking about the pigs, then it'll sort of seg into Rick because they're intimately related.
Yes, they are.
I thought it was, when Rick is driving out and slaughtering the pigs one by one. It was a very sad scene.
Yes, it was.
And there was Bear McCreary sad music playing in the background. And it was very sad. But, it was really mostly sad because it signified that Rick kind of had to give up his dream of being this peaceful farmer.
You could tell the dude's got PTSD. He's gone through some awful things and he's very traumatized and the guy just wants to relax and farm and tend to the pigs and be a good role model for Carl, get his kid off the gun.
Yes, that's the main thing he wants to do is help his son.
And he also has this...
And he's doing a good job of it too, which is the heartbreaking thing because Carl seems a lot healthier.
He does. And he's got this little daughter and he seems to be nurturing his little daughter really well. And he's got to strap back on the gun.
But even though he has this PTSD, he's still... It just feels like he should be, if not leading, at least taking a big role, you know? And Daryl feels that way.
Yeah.
And Daryl's like, okay, you earned this break, but we need you. And, and Rick's like, well, I screwed up so many times. And Daryl's like, no, you're always here helping, and we need you.
When the shit goes down, you're right there, standing there with a shovel.
I don't think he said it exactly that way.
I think he did.
When the shit goes down, you're there with a shovel.
That's what he said. You're standing right there with a shovel. You're standing right there with a shovel.
Talking about digging the graves, not shoveling shit. But same idea, I guess.
Right. I got teary-eyed when the music was playing and he had to lure the walkers away. And
well, the thing is with the pigs, really, when you think about it, they were going to be slaughtered anyway.
Yeah.
But it just tugs at the heartstrings to see that, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's so sad. But, you know, I thought about it, and it's probably a double purpose because they're not sure whether those pigs are carriers. Mm-hmm. So
exactly,
it wasn't that like at first we're like, no, not the bacon. You know, that's so sad. But
he's got to get rid of them anyway.
Yeah, probably. It was probably a good idea anyway.
Yeah, he's a reluctant hero at this point. He is a hero, make no mistake. But, but he's a reluctant one.
The weird thing about that is I just felt like at the beginning, you know, last episode 1, it's like, oh, suddenly he doesn't want to use guns anymore, and this is the new Rick. And then by episode 2, back to the old Rick. It was pretty quick, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we've clearly seen that he's taken a break, and he just likes to go out and hang out with the hoe. What? I am in the garden.
Lori's
God,
dead.
you people.
Haha.
By the way, at the very end, the scene that he had with Carl where he was burning the wood at the end.
Like the pigsties of no use anymore, right?
The pigsty. Burning.
They might find more pigs.
Well, anyway. You know what? It's not that it was of no use. It was that it might have been contaminated
really?
In some way. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, which is why he threw his shirt in there. But I was so
I thought that was his farmer shirt. You're gonna put his badge back on.
No, I was thinking. I kept yelling at the TV. I'm like, burn the shirt, kill it. It's not coming back. Burn the shirt. It was disgusting. I couldn't even focus on what he was
on his naked body
saying. No, I was mainly just obsessed with that shirt.
I just thought. I think the last time we saw him with his shirt off, maybe not, but what I remember is in season 1 season 2, he was in the tent with Lori, and they were both so skinny together. It looked like they both needed a sandwich. And he looks like he's had a couple of sandwiches since then, but he could use maybe one more.
He deserves a sandwich. Don't we all?
But and just to kind of cap off this point, I liked that Carl is standing by his dad.
Yeah,
it made me feel good because at the end of last season, it felt like, you know, rebellion time, but now he's really trying, and he goes and tells him what. I was really happy to hear. Man, God, I'm so colored now being a father, but I was like, what a good boy. You know?
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. And not only did he tell his dad what Carol was up to, he also said, and look, I actually support what she's doing. And I think it's a very good idea.
Yeah.
Really healthy.
And what, you know, and Rick, not quite as healthy, was like, okay, good. You know, you're right. Let's not tell the parents. And I'm like, the healthiest thing would be let's all talk about what would be best and get on the same
secrets.
page. Yeah.
You can't afford that.
But you can't have no secrets and everybody being healthy in a drama because it would just be boring.
Everyone gets along really well and nothing ever goes wrong.
Thing.
Yeah, you're right. That would make for not very interesting viewing. So I got to say, that was kind of my number 5 also.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So my number 4 is Lizzie and Mika, the 2 little girls. The sweet little girl and the psycho.
She's not psycho. She's just a little messed up and names her zombies. What?
I think it's an indication of things to come.
Uh-oh.
I don't know, but
and draws pictures of them.
You noticed that. Yeah, the first thing that if you're not paying attention, you won't notice is when Karen's walking around in the spooky jail, flashing her flickering flashlight around. It rests first on a drawing, and it's a nice drawing of her and her sister smiling, and the prison and some trees and some sun, and then there's a fence and there's a few zombies, and one is smiling, and then one is labeled Nick.
That's the cute one.
That's funny.
That's the cute zombie.
And then so they see their dad die, and that scene was one of the scenes that I didn't love. it had promise, especially when little Mika was crying. It was very believable. Good little actress.
Yeah.
But then it just felt kind of melodramatic, especially when Lizzie couldn't bring herself to finish him off. And then Mika came over and started saying, take a few breaths, breathe with me. It just felt, it didn't really work.
It was weird because why would she have wanted to even do that in the first place? I mean, let Carol, the grown-up,
well, Carol
stick the knife in the brain.
Urged her to do it, though.
Did she?
Kind of.
I think Lizzie kind of volunteered. She said, "No, wait, I'll do it." You know, I think Carol even said, "Like, why don't you two girls go outside?
Yeah,
I'll
that's
finish
true.
this
But
off."
she was okay with it.
She was okay with it.
And
then Lizzie couldn't do it. And
later on, she calls her weak for not
Right.
having done it. Right. So Carol wants to teach these kids to be ruthless and strong. And
yeah, which I'm actually fine with.
it was pretty shocking. I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. It is shocking.
Yeah.
But I do believe that you have to be really tough in this
I do
new
too.
age.
I think so too. But I think Carol is being a little reactive because of Sophia here. I agree
Yes.
that they
Yes.
should be teaching the kids this stuff, but she's just going a little too far and calling her weak like that after she just had to watch her dad
yeah.
die. You know, you do want to teach him to be strong, but I think she's just, and not telling the parents, you know, she's just going a little too far because her daughter died.
People are. I think they all could use some PTSD counseling.
Yeah.
Personally.
Of course, yeah. And God, I think if this was real life, it would just, like by season 7, they'd all just be curled up in the corner in the fetal position. Or, you know, they'd just be like, get away from me.
Yeah, exactly.
Because so for Lizzie and Mika, I just think Lizzie is going to do something really bad, but we'll see.
Do you think she's feeding the rats?
I do think she's feeding the rats. Yes.
Interesting.
And some people think that she killed Karen and David,
No.
but I don't. There's an interesting email on that I'm going to read later that started to turn me around on it, but I don't. Before I read that, I thought, no way.
Okay. Well, then we'll wait to
We'll
hear
see.
it. Okay. My number 4 is the virus, which evidently makes your innards pressurize like a can of shaken soda so that blood oozes out of your head holes. I hadn't given that much thought before, but it's actually kind of brilliant.
It's a great visual.
It really is.
Oh,
This is the new normal, and there's bound to be some crazy things that happen in this. You know, I started to think about it, like all the things that could go wrong. Nuclear power plants that may melt down worldwide.
Be great.
Yeah, that would throw some interesting little monkey wrenches and things. Stuff like that. And as season 1 showed us, there's no more CDC to help deal with the flu outbreak. Luckily, though, traveling is pretty much shut down. There's no trains, planes, or automobiles, so it won't spread that quickly. But I like the whole thought about the virus and what the virus means.
I was glad when they started saying, like, this is how these things happen through pigs, and just started talking about it in terms of regular viruses.
Right.
I was glad that a couple of people, Carol and Daryl, both pointed out at different times that, well, this one's really fast. Like, they were okay yesterday and then dead that night.
Right. In fact, I watched The Talking Dead afterwards, and Greg Nicotero was on The Talking Dead, and he said that they modeled this after the 1918 influenza outbreak, and where people would be fine in the morning and then by night they'd be dead.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
You know,
well
Jenny
documented.
sent me, because we've had mosquito bites around here lately, this thing about how there's this certain breed of mosquitoes showing up in California right now. Yellow. They in other countries they carry. I mean, don't quote me on any of this. You guys go look it up on Google. But so far, there have been no incidences of them carrying this sickness here. But you have to like get rid of your standing water if you have bowls of water outside or anything poured out and stuff. Scary.
Really?
Yeah.
In San Francisco? Like in
the
this
Bay
area?
Area, San Mateo, Central Valley, Sacramento.
Yikes.
Yeah, so I do a little research on that.
Fortunately, it never rains here, so there's not a whole lot of standing water. Just saying. As a water conservation specialist. Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, 3. So I like that there were 2 mysteries.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember, but last season I really wanted there to be a murder mystery.
Yeah.
And now we're getting it.
We're getting it, man.
And it's who's feeding the zombies now.
Right.
Totally obvious, and I think the answer is Lizzie. Right?
Yes.
I mean, I don't expect them to surprise us on that one. I think it's going to be Lizzie, but we'll see.
Okay.
And then the other one is who killed Karen and David. And I think that one's much more up in the air.
Yes.
They took Karen and David because they were coughing and they confined them to death row.
Right.
Sort of
Ironically
or not.
Right. Or at least it was clean, according to Daryl.
Yeah. But in that scene, it was the council. It was
Sasha.
Glenn, Herschel, Sasha, Daryl, Tyrese, Karen, and Carol.
I don't think Karen was in that council.
No, but she was in that scene when they were telling them where to go.
Right. Yeah.
It was a different scene.
Yeah.
But, anyone could have seen them coughing, so it doesn't necessarily have to be one of those people.
Right.
But I think Bob Stuckey is a major suspect because he's seemed so sketchy and he's...
Yes.
But I think he's the obvious choice that is the red herring.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think so, yeah. And I think that... I actually have no idea who did it, but my guess is Sasha.
Sasha.
Yeah.
Huh.
In order to protect Tyrese.
Well, okay, so
Karen.
maybe. I mean, maybe they weren't murdered. Maybe they were just killed after they had turned. Maybe they both died naturally of this virus. They turned. They were taken out and dragged outside.
I was thinking that too, but
Then why would they be burned?
Gracie Lou didn't think so. I don't think she's in the chat room today, but she said something about the way they filmed it made it seem like that didn't happen.
Interesting.
But I don't know. I think it was a murder, and then they got killed and dragged out and burned. I think that was what they were going for.
Why burned? That's weird.
See, that makes me think that it's someone who just wants to make sure they're decontaminated, right? Yeah, that makes sense because they're the ones who are showing signs of sickness.
Right.
So it's someone who just... Now, Bob Stuckey at some point said bugs like to run through close quarters, doesn't get any closer than this. So,
right.
But everybody's wary of getting sick, Like I say, Sasha might want to protect Tyrese.
And by the way, y'all should sleep with your doors closed or your cell doors closed. So
I know. They all have these like silken...
Yeah, and
just
that's
enough
easy,
so you could be being eaten inside and no one can tell.
Easy zombie egress. Come on, people.
They say that all the deaths have a reason on the show. What do you think?
Who
Karen's
says that?
death. Well, Glenn Mazzara used to say it, and now Scott Gimple says it.
Everybody's
that it's
death
a
has
story
a reason.
purpose. Not everyone's, but the big ones.
Well, according to Greg Nicotero, there were 45 people at the prison, and now 14 to 15 people died. Yeah, I mean they weren't key players, really.
No, I mean Karen was the most key, I would say, and I think she died to help Tyrese finally man up.
Yeah, he seems like he's going to be pretty angry about this.
Yeah, and he's been wishy-washy and kind of weak, and now he's like
Cole
going
Porter.
gaga for her. But before that, I don't like going on the fence. I don't like going out either.
Just like to
on
be
runs
here and make
and
out
sing.
and sing Cole Porter. Yeah, we all like doing that, Tyrese.
And then
Man up.
I liked that the episode opened with that romantic scene between them with him singing, and then it ended with him bringing her flowers and she's charred corpse. That's kind of the way things tend to go on The Walking Dead.
Yes, exactly. And that was actually my number 3 as well. The mysteries.
Oh, the mysteries.
Mysteries.
Okay.
Who's feeding rats and who torched David and Karen? Who torched my namesakes? Who was it? Do you think it's an homage to me and David? I don't think so.
I wouldn't call that an homage if it was. I'd call it an FU. I'd still be honored, though.
I am deeply.
Okay, my number 2, which I have a feeling might be your number 2 or maybe your number 1, is Michonne.
Yeah, baby.
I just love the scene with Michonne.
Yes.
She's in there talking with Beth, and And for one thing, the baby's playing with, what do you call it?
Those
little
red plastic
cups.
Solo cups. Yeah.
And then it sounded almost like the baby was turning. And I'm like, don't you guys hear that? Here, I'm going to play a little thing.
I was so stupid. When I fell on my ass, they should have just left me out there.
Now that's stupid. We care about you.
They could have gotten hurt.
You hear that? I thought that because it was like he, then it was like rah. And then the next thing you hear is ah. And then you see Beth go ah.
She was like, does that kid always do that?
Yeah, but they were not paying attention. But aside from that, Denai Guerrero did an amazing job.
Yes.
And I think, I guess maybe Michonne had a baby. That's what you...
Or maybe she had a miscarriage.
A miscarriage, yeah, that's what one of the listeners thought. But I was thinking, in order to be that upset by it, that she probably... You'd think she lost
Careful, pal.
a child. Well, I mean, a miscarriage, I know, is upsetting. But, I mean, just to think, like, if Jenny had a miscarriage versus losing Nico right now, after we'd gotten 2 years to know him...
Yeah.
I mean, I think, you're right. I guess I can't. Really?
I think so.
I don't know. I think most women would agree that it would be harder to lose a child that you've given birth to than a miscarriage.
Unbelievably difficult,
Plus,
matter what.
It's the zombie apocalypse, so you'd think, maybe she lost a child to a zombie.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. That's what I think this means. We'll see. It could be a miscarriage. Either way, yeah, it would be very traumatic. But I thought that's what they were getting at. And I thought it was great. And she did a beautiful job. But I also thought it was funny that little baby Judith the whole time was like looking over at her like, are you okay?
Yeah, she did. She did a great job, that little baby. And the range that Michonne goes through of, kind of just, I don't want to be, I don't want to be around this kid. And then looking at the kid and she gets a little smile on her face and then she starts crying. Whole gamut of emotions right there. And she did a beautiful job. More Denai Guerrero, please. Also, I think it's nice to learn more about her. And I know that the writers don't want to go too much into everybody's backstory, but I think it's okay to give us a little more backstory. I think it helps us.
They're going to do more of that, I think, this
season.
I think they said they are.
Bring it on, writers. Let us know more about her past because I think that really informs who she is today.
Yeah, totally. And if they do it, especially in this way, where they reveal things by not exposition, but some reaction to something happening in the moment, at work, that's the best way.
Yeah.
And, I hope that they do clarify it, but I hope they don't treat it as a revelation if they say, oh, I lost a child, because it's already been pretty clear that something happened.
Right. Yeah.
And as far as this scene goes, I also wondered if Greg Nicotero's guys made the carrot goo that was on Beth's shoulder from the baby. Or if somebody chewed up a carrot and spit it on her shoulder.
That would be more realistic.
Mm-hmm. And then just finally, Michonne, I thought it was funny that she's trying to leave. Didn't she try to leave last episode? And then she's trying to leave again and she got called back and hurt her ankle, so she can't go. So maybe she'll be around a little bit more, but she just can't get out of there.
No, she can't. They keep calling her back. She was uncharacteristically clumsy coming back in.
I know.
She whistles and Carl is right there for her operating the gates. And then she kind of just messes it all up. She's very Michonne,
Yeah. And I think that's just for the story's sake.
Yeah.
To get her ankle broken, But
Right.
yeah, I thought that too. Like, Michonne from last season wouldn't have let that happen.
No, she would have been, her sword would have just, they're easy at this point. Good Lord.
Oh, this baby thing too, it made me think it makes more sense that she would be so closed off when we first meet her. And so just cold and hard, because if you lost a child in that world, like the governor, he lost Penny and he's like, okay, fine. And I'm just for revenge
he
now.
went bad shit.
Yeah.
Can I ask, and you don't have to answer it, but do we know more about Michonne in the comics and about that particular issue?
I don't want to answer that because...
Don't answer it.
Yeah, I don't want to answer that.
Okay, fine. Fine. That was also my number 2. What's your number 1?
Wow.
It was.
We didn't talk before this.
I swear.
My number one is the zombie and just the zombies and the horror moviness, the way they use the zombies and the way it felt more like a horror movie.
Yeah.
There are a few episodes that feel like horror movies more than the other episodes, like the one where the governor was chasing Andrea around
in that old abandoned warehouse
with the
place.
meat hooks hanging
Or
everywhere.
maybe it was a meat locker. Yeah.
And this one I think felt more like a horror movie than maybe any of the other ones, which I want, and I love the way they did it. Especially the beginning with her going around with her flickering flashlight and startling noises, and then she leaves, and then the zombie slowly rises.
Well, and apparently in the jail cell, not Patrick, but the guy that Patrick ate, the snoring guy who Patrick bit his throat off. Yeah. According to Greg Nicotero on The Talking Dead, when he rises up and his guts fall out, that was a direct homage to Romero and
yes. Probably Day of the Dead.
Right.
Or Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, he told us that we were going to see homages like that, and that was the first one. That was
one of them. Yep.
Now, the whole thing about biting the throat, I liked, you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit to believe that a zombie could be chowing down on a guy in the cell next to you and you wouldn't hear it. You know, unless that guy is already making weird noises every night or something. And so I guess I'm okay with that. But I do wish that he would have flailed around a little bit. You know, his throat got bit and he just laid there. And it's like, if somebody comes up, even if they chewed your whole neck off, or even if they chopped your head off, your body's going to twitch around. He
was a very deep sleeper.
No. That's all I have to say to that. No. So I just thought that looked really dumb. But I did love how the zombies kind of just ate their way through all of cell block B or whatever that was.
That was my human kill of the week, was the snoring guy neck chomp. My zombie kill of the week, by the way, was the Sasha stomping on the crawling zombie. Or
another like watermelon type one, right?
Yeah, it was, exactly. And the zombie maim of the week was the zombie eyeball popping out of the chain link fence from the pressure pushing up against him.
That was mine too. I didn't actually have a kill, but I liked how the cuts on his face took the shape of the chain link fence and pushed his eyeball right through.
Yeah, things pop out when things like that happen. Concert goers beware. My number one is I like all the strong female characters this season, and they seem to be developing them more and more. Maybe it's in response to all the complaints in the past about Andrea and Lori, but boy, there is just so many great, strong female characters. Sasha, Michonne, Carol, Maggie, Beth, who's kind of nutty in her own way, but she's strong.
Karen,
she's...
Sasha could be a deranged killer, by the way, but...
I don't think she is. She's on the council. And she's just so ridiculous.
She may be hiding it if she is. She probably didn't bring it up in the council meeting.
She's been bossing Tyrese around since practically day one. Michonne, who's without a doubt unbelievably strong. Carol, who I love that they've brought her really far from the beginning.
Me too.
We've seen the most character development, I think, character change from her. Maggie was, just a little farm girl, and now Maggie's another badass. So I just love it. They're doing a really nice job. Thank you, writers, for writing really great, believable, strong female characters.
I mean, I just don't like it when all the characters are badasses and great. I do like that there's more strong women, but I want my characters to be. I mean, I guess if you've made it this far in the zombie apocalypse,
by now,
then you're probably going to be strong.
Right.
So that's believable.
And
in that
if you learn to be, if you didn't start out that way, like Carol, you learn to eventually be, and you find it in yourself because, that's what Carol's trying to teach the kids. She's